everybody, welcome to the Basis Points Podcast. I'm Kevin Flanagan, head of fixed income strategy at Wisdom Tree Asset Management. Coming at you here in August where there are no summer doldrums taking place whatsoever, at least in the money and bond markets. And now is a September rate cut now in play. And the busy week for the markets last week culminated in the July employment situation report, right? And with the jobs data coming in after the July FOMC meeting, investors were greeted with a dynamic that is somewhat unusual. And now with the July jobs data in, the markets are faced with a visibly different labor market backdrop than what existed at 8:29 a.m. Eastern Time Friday morning prior to the release. What do I mean by that? Well, it's a much softer than previously expected over the last 3 months in terms of new hiring. So here are some takeaways, okay? Let's talk about this for a second. First off, if you look at the 3-month moving average, remember the Bureau of Labor Statistics in each monthly report provides revisions to prior 2 months worth of data in the establishment survey, which contains non-farm payrolls. So for May, we were at 141,000. We're now at 99. For June, we were at 150,000. We're now at 64. And if you look at where we are now, it's 35,000. So non-farm payrolls rose by 73,000 in July, which was visibly below the consensus estimate of a little more than 100,000. But this huge downward revision of 258,000 to the prior 2 months has taken that 3-month moving average plummeting to only 35,000. And if you go back in time, it looks as if this is the largest downward revision, non-COVID related, since 1979. My goodness. So Powell's new favorite indicator, however, the unemployment rate, remember he talked about that at his press conference, which seems like 10 years ago, but it was just last Wednesday, ticked up by only a marginal 0.1 percentage points and is still low at 4.2% in line with expectations. Now, we still have another employment report and 2 more months worth of inflation data before the September FOMC meeting. But their jobs report on Friday changes that labor market backdrop that Powell has been basing his policy decisions on, right? Now, Jackson Hole, remember Kansas City Fed Symposium every year, later this month, August 21st and 23rd, provides the opportunity to change forward guidance for Powell if he wants to go down that road. But on its own, this jobs report puts a September rate cut in play. And what happens, though, if upcoming inflation reports are elevated and show more tariff pass-through effects? That's the potential conundrum going forward. So needless to say, you've seen the Treasury market rally, 2- and 10-year yields falling, close to 30 and let's say about 10 to 15 basis points respectively on Fed repricing following Powell's somewhat hawkish presser that I just referenced last week. However, a further rally, especially for the 10-year, is going to be dependent upon upcoming inflation data, first one being CPI on August 12th, mark it on your calendar. So against this shifting labor market and potential Fed monetary policy backdrop, how should fixed income investors position their portfolio? Well, if the Fed does shift into rate cut mode, the front end of the yield curve or short duration strategies would be expected to outperform. And I would suggest investors consider either the Wisdom Tree Yield Enhanced U.S. Short-Term Aggregate Bond Fund, ticker there, SHAG, or for a Treasuries only solution. So no corporate credit. We're just talking about treasuries here. It would be the Wisdom Tree 1 to 3 year ladder treasury fund, ticker USSH, from our fixed income suite. So I'm going to end it there. It looks like it's going to be, a summer where you're at the beach or whatever. Keep your eye on the markets. Keep your eye on the tape because there's still a lot going on, a lot of moving pieces. Have a great rest of the week, everybody, and be well. And before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at wisdomtree.com/investments and read it carefully.